I used to always get so frustrated when I heard something like this. And I just thought, how on earth am I going to play like that? And that's why I've broken that track down in particular from Kirk Fletcher down into 5 different levels, starting with something anyone can play, building up to Kirk Fletcher's incredible shuffle. By the end of it, you'll have something ready to play no matter what skill level you're at. Before we dive into level 1, it's so important to just get the basics of the 12-bar blues. From there, we can jazz things up step by step as we go through each level. So the 1 chord is B flat 7. 4 chord is E flat 7, and the 5 chord is F7. Next thing we need to understand is the structure of a 12-bar blues, and this is super important before we look at any jazz changes. So we got the 1 chord for 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 chord for 2 bars. 1 chord for 2 bars. 5 chord, 1 bar, 4 for 1 bar, 1 for 1 bar, and 5 chord for 1 bar. Just so you know, I've done tabs for all 5 levels. If you want to check that out, I'll put that on my Patreon site and I'll put the link in the description. So for level 1, we're just going to jazz things up by approaching each of these chords by either a semitone above, a semitone below, or even a tone below, going up chromatically. So for B flat 7, I might try this: A flat, A, and then up to a B flat 7. Then for our E flat 7, I might try a semitone above, and for the F7, I might try a semitone below. Let's see what that sounds like. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2. Good, but I think we can do a bit better. So let's move on to level 2 and let's really analyze this structure to see what other changes we can put into this. So you might have heard this term, the 2-5-1, a lot in the jazz circles. This basically means we're taking the 2nd chord of the keys. So in this case, we've got C minor, an F7, and then a B flat 7. And another one you might have already heard of is the 6-2-5-1. So we've already got the 2-5-1, it's just knowing where the 6 is, and in the key of B flat, it is G7. But where does this all fit in our 12-bar blues? Well, with this, we can actually incorporate on the turnaround. So the turnaround is the last 4 bars before we come back onto chord 1. So for bar 9, we have C sharp minor. For bar 10, we're going to go to our F7. And then for bar 11 and 12, we're actually adding in 4 chords. That's 2 per beat. So we have the 1 chord, then to the 6th chord for 2 beats. Then for bar 12, we then go to our 2 chord, and then to our F7 for the last 2 beats. So let me just count that. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and back to 1. So let's try that as a run through, and we're actually going to approach the C minor in an interesting way too. So watch out for that one. Here we go. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2. So if you didn't grab that approach to the 2 chord, I went from a D minor, which is the 3 chord, to a flat and 3rd, then to our 2 minor. And there's so many different variations you can do on a jazz blues. For instance, you can go from a 1 chord, 4 chord, 1 chord, 4 chord, diminished, back to there. Tabs for this and all the variations, I'll put that on my Patreon site, and the link is in the description below. Level 3 is all about adding inversions, and this is where we're going to start to see some alterations with the chords and some extended harmony. And in that video, he said he was heavily influenced by
great Robin Ford, you know.
And this is one inversion I've picked up from Robin Ford also, and it's a really cool inversion of a 13th chord, going up a bit higher up in the neck. So this is our B flat note, which is the 13th fret. Now if you go down a tone below, that's what we call the flattened 7th. So that's our index finger. Then we've got third finger, plays the major third. Then our pinky finger plays the 6th or the 13th. And then our second finger actually plays the root note or the tonic, which is the 11th fret of the B. And that gives you a really cool 13th sound. And if you already know B flat 13 here, it's basically the top 4 strings just played on a different string set. But what Kirk does in the video, he goes from that tone below, up in chromatically, up to our B flat 7. And for our 4 chord, rather than just playing a straight 7th chord, we're actually going to bar our third finger across the top 3 strings, giving us that sound. So you got root, third, flat 7th, 9th, and then our 5th again. And for the 6th chord, we can do this cool Hendrix G7 sharp 9, C minor. And then for our 5 chord, we can also do that Hendrix chord, which is the 7th sharp 9, back to the 1. Let's add that in and see how that sounds. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Level 4, Kirk does this amazing intro, and it's basically a turnaround back to the 1 chord, but used as our intro. It's got this B flat pedal note running through these 4 chords, and we've got this like counterpoint kind of melody going on. One note goes down, whereas another note goes up. So we have the first chord, which is like a B flat 7. Next chord appears to be like an E flat triad, major triad. This one looks like a G7, and then we've got back to our B flat chord. So it's, and then he goes up here and plays this F7 inversion, but puts his third finger on the 8th fret of the C note. That sounds like this. So for level 5, this is pretty much what Kirk is playing over the 1 chord. And if you want all the tabs for this, I will put on my Patreon site and a link in the description. So minor third up to major third, but with the 5th on top. Then we're playing the 4th and the 6th. And basically back to the start again. Like a question answering thing. Other cool things on the 5 chord, before we do the 6, 2, 5, 1. He's actually playing this F flat 9 inversion. Before going back to here. Then he's doing this cool walking bass thing on the when he's doing the 6, 2, 5, 1. From that B flat. So this is level 5, and this is putting it all together. You've got that down, it's so important to keep adding to this repertoire, and that's why I've done this video up here where I go through another killer blues, but this time from Tom Buckerfat, one of Nashville's top session musicians. Go and click on that and I'll see you over there. But remember, discover, learn and create something inspiring today. See you in the next one.